Well, it's a pretty extraordinary story to have broken, of course, after Parliament has broken up. Of course, we're now in this prorogued period because the local elections take place in less than a week. So yesterday, Parliament stopped sitting. MPs mostly went back to their constituencies, and only today has it been the case that this news has now been learnt, thanks to the journalism of the Daily Telegraph. Of course, we first heard about this story back on Tuesday evening. It sort of broke as a result of two separate female Conservative MPs raising this in a meeting in the House of Commons, in one of the committee rooms, a meeting convened ostensibly to find ways to keep women in Westminster. It was a meeting that then went on to talk about the atmosphere in Westminster, with specific examples of wrongdoing being raised. At first, it was unclear as to whether this was just one individual or multiple MPs, but then it became clear it was one individual. Later, then on Wednesday, at Prime Minister's questions, it was raised. The Prime Minister said that that activity would clearly be a breach of the ministerial code. At that point, Number 10 did not know who this alleged perpetrator was, and indeed there was much rumour about that it was a front bencher, a minister, a whip or a PPS. Well, we have now learnt that it was none of those things. It was indeed a select committee chairman, someone who has been in the House of Commons since 2010, someone who has won 4 general elections with enormous majorities down in Tiverton, someone who for 10 years before 2010, from 1999 to 2009, was a member of the European Parliament as well. This is someone who has been elected as a parliamentarian of one form or another, spanning 4 decades. And yet now this is a name that is on the lips of every political journalist and every MP. It's the most remarkable story. How on earth it could have got to this stage, how someone could have felt so brazen to be watching that material in one of the most videoed and watched rooms in the country. Now, every Wednesday when there's Prime Minister's questions, and indeed many other times as well, I'm sitting up there on the press gallery above those green benches, this sort of horseshoe around where the parliamentary press lobby sit. And you know what? We are looking directly down at those members of parliament below us. I can see what they're doing on their phones, too many of them too often on their phones during important parliamentary business. But I could see every single person, whether they're on WhatsApp, whether they're scrolling through Instagram. It's extraordinary that it has taken until now for this to have become public. It's an incredibly brazen activity, and suggests rather perturbingly that this is something that this individual has been doing almost wanting to be seen. It suggests sexual perversion of one form or another. Now, of course, this is all still allegedly. There is a parliamentary process that needs to be got underway now, and of course that process has begun this evening.